Hello, friends. How are you? Um, this is Wendy, and I was going to say it's Wendy from the Paper Moose, but somehow in my inexperience with all things YouTube, that's not the site that went up. So we'll see whether it becomes a Paper Moose later on or not. Today, we are going to work on doing some embellishments to this page. I have glued nothing down yet. And I haven't quite decided exactly what kind of embellishments I want to do. I do want to share something first before we do the embellishments. And that is, there are two terms out there. Embellishment is one, and that basically means you embellish something. You can embellish your dress by adding some jewelry or a brooch or something. Embellish your hands by adding rings, and you can embellish a page, a scrapbook page, with little things. This would be an embellishment. This would be an embellishment. This would be an embellishment. We're going to add leaves and some other things. I haven't even decided everything that I'm going to add as embellishment because we're going to play, right? But there's another term out there called ephemera. Now, ephemera is something that's fleeting, something that isn't meant to last. It's part of the ephemeral word, where something is ethereal and fleeting. And so here's a piece of ephemera. This was a map. It's not even a good map. It was an ad kind of, but we went to Tahoe and I saw the map and I thought, I am going to embellish a page with this piece of ephemera. So ephemera, which is something that's meant to be thrown away, can actually be an embellishment. So now the two words are sort of interchanged. People will call any kind of embellishment something that they have made. Like they might call this ephemera, even though technically it's embellishment. But it really doesn't matter, does it? This would be an ephemera. This is something I am going to be using soon in my scrapbooking. In fact, when I came across it, I thought, oh, I better set this aside with the photos that I have from Animal Kingdom's 20th anniversary, which was in 2018. And then I have a whole baggie full of ephemera that I got at Epcot. So I may hang on to this, and here's some more ephemera that, they give you this, and then you're really expected to kind of like maybe play with it for a little bit and then throw it away. So I'm going to put those in with my Disney photos for the future. Today, we're going to start making the paper that we're going to use for our embellishments. I had a question from a friend of mine. She posted me. She was like, what happens when something goes wrong? Well, this was a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And by the time I got done and got ready to add my photos and everything, I literally, absolutely, completely, utterly hated this. And so as you can see, I've already cut some off. So I did not throw this away. I put it in my drawer. I've got this big piece of white in here that I can use. And I did cut this part off and use it for something. And today we're going to play with this piece of paper to make colors in order to for our leaves and things. And I have some other paper. This is paper. If you recall, when I have some leftover stuff, I just start putting it on watercolor paper. This is not watercolor paper. This is craft paper. This is kind of finished, but I might want to use it. So I pulled it out of my drawer, but I made it so that I could do some lettering. It says Ample Hills on there. But I could use this with my leaves for fall. This, again, is something that is left over from another project. This one is from just the other day that I made here on camera. And I'm going to add to this. And this was also made for the last project that I did. So we're going to get started in upscaling these papers, okay? Okay, so I've got some colors set aside. Antique linen, again, another favorite. Vintage photo. I've got ground espresso, which if I use it, it'll be like one of the last things that I use. I have frayed burlap. I also have crackling campfire and aged mahogany. I think these will look really good for making autumn leaves. I'm going to start with antique linen. And I'm going to start with this piece of paper. I literally have no idea how I'm going to use it. I certainly can get 1 or 2 leaves if I'm going to do it with leaves out of here. This is blank space with a big black line through it. But I'm going to ink the whole thing. So we're going to start with antique linen because it's one of the lightest. It is the lightest of these colors. So we're going to start there. And I will be putting this on time-lapse photography. So I'm just going to start with inking, and then we'll go on to more stamping and some other things. But let me just get started with the inking. I forgot to mention. So I have 2 glass tops. They're both by Tim Holtz. They're both by Tonic. This is like the travel size, and this is your basic size. I don't ever travel with this. And it comes with a really cool sleeve and everything to keep it safe. But I like to have a larger, you can't see my hand over here, but a larger playing surface. And so I have 2 of these mats, but craft mats. So I have 2 craft mats here, and my table isn't level, so these aren't level. And I have another one that I've never used in the drawer. So these can be purchased again and again to go over your glass mat. The glass mats I've had for a few years now, and they have done really well. In fact, I bought my first one in North Carolina. So I've had this for several years, and it's doing really, really well. And I just wanted to give a shout out for the products that I'm using. And you know, I do obviously love Tim Holtz stuff. I'm also going to use this oxide spray, which is vintage photo. And I'm also going to use this distress spray stain, which is antique linen. And again, this is play. I'm not even sure how the project's going to turn out. If I hate it, it's only a 4x4 square and I can throw it away. Generally, I don't throw anything away. I put it in this drawer and then rethink it later. Okay, so we're going to begin. Well, I have some observations. Literally, I've not played with these before. The first one is I smushed this down and then I spritzed it with water, which of course dilutes the color. This one is just color. It's already, I don't know that it's diluted, right? It says shake well. I think I did a little. But when I sprayed it and then picked it up, it's definitely a darker color than this was. I don't know if you can tell. You might not even be able to tell. There's a very, very, very pale amount of what I smushed and spritzed. But this definitely made for more color showing. This one of these two, I definitely like better. So like, I'll probably keep them both, but this one I already am preferring right now just because I learned from what I did on this one. And so this one is looking a little better. But we're not done yet. Okay, so here are my observations. One thing that, just thinking about this, the only distress spray stain, golly, I don't want to have to say that fast 20 times or anything. Anyway, the only, this is the only one I have, and I would definitely invest in this in the vintage photo because I use that so much. So that is something that from this little play that I know that I wouldn't mind buying it in vintage photo. And as I maybe start to build my inventory of distress spray stains and oxides. I do have more oxides, mainly because I think more people like them. So every time I look for something that's a stain, I end up getting an oxide. I also like both of these a lot better than I did when I had just used the antique linen. Now I am going to use my absolute most favorite stamp that I have. I have a lot of stamps, but this one's my favorite. And I think I'm going to start with ground espresso. You can use it like this and ink it, and then you can put little bits here and a little bit here. You can roll it off. You can just get a little bit, and that's kind of what I did with these pieces that are already on here. So this is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to ink it and dab it around and see how it comes out, okay? So, and I do like this, and you may say, Wendy, that doesn't look all that great. But when I start cutting out the leaves, it's going to make a big difference. In fact, I'm gonna do a little bit right there over the red. There we go. So as we cut them out, it will, it'll give a lot of interest in the leaves that we are cutting out, that there's some more layers of color on there. So that one I'm going to set aside, and I'm going to pull out this one. This is not on watercolor paper, but it is on a paper that will take, should take some stain or ink well. If you can see, I've already run this through an embossing folder. So we'll start, in fact, I'll just not hurry this up. I'll just, pull my, wonder what color I want to use. What do I want to start with? Well, maybe I should just start with the lightest one, just because you can always go darker. So let's see what happens to this when I do this. And I don't mind that there's a rip. This was a scrap. It was the leftovers of another project. In fact, you can probably tell I cut a leaf out of there. With the jagged edge, I cut a leaf. So this is just leftovers. And this one I am going to, let's see, maybe I'm going to put a bit of crackling campfire on there. Okay, notice now if I push really hard on my table, even with my new ring, whatever, it still makes it wobble. So I'm sorry about that. Ooh, okay. See those little dots? I love that. That's what I love. All right. I'm gonna let this, well, let's see. I'm gonna let this air dry and grab something else. This has no red in it. So I'm going to take this little piece right there and see, well, first I'm gonna rip this off. This was that wood grain. It's also by Tim Holtz that I was using. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh yeah. That's gonna be great. Okay, I'm gonna let this one also set aside and air dry it, and later I'll come back and probably put some more of this crackling campfire on it. I liked that so much. I'm gonna add crackling campfire to this one. Now this is craft paper. It's not Tim Holtz. I don't know where I got this. I have quite a bit because I had a real thing about craft paper a while back and bought a bunch, and now I have it. A lot of it. A lot of it. Craft paper doesn't pick up ink as well as some of the others. It kind of like absorbs it right into it. But I am liking this. I don't even know exactly how I'm going to use this one. But I'm going to set this aside to air dry. And now, this one definitely needs brown on it. So we will add some brown on this, and I will do that on time-lapse photography. And we'll see how this turns out. Okay, so some of these I like better than others. This one I'm really not even sure I'm going to use just because it really is falling apart, but I might. It kind of has a good look to it. And I might just keep it the way it is. This one got splattered with a bunch of water, and it's still not all. I dried it off camera even, and it's still not all the way dry. And because it got a blotch of water, now that looks sort of, I don't know, not what I want. How's that? It does not look like what I want. I'm going to add a little bit of aged mahogany then, right there. And I'll just pick a spot here. Ooh, that's a nice big glop, huh? Ooh, I like that. Wow, well. Happy accident, right? I may do more of this on these. Okay. I think I'm going to do some more. I like that. You really can't make a mistake with this. It is play, and it is just paper. And some paper is a lot more expensive than other paper, so you want to be really careful with it. But these were all scraps. These were all leftovers from something else. And so they would have been ephemera, right? They would have been something that I would have just thrown away, but I didn't. Okay. That's, I like that. And when we cut them out, it's going to definitely look different than it looks right now. So I'm going to put this back on here because I want to do a nice big piece of this on here. Especially right there. Now this tool is, I think it might be a stamping tool. I don't remember what I called it. I bought it off of Amazon and I just don't remember what it was called. So I'll have to look that up. Ooh, I really want some right here. Oh, that aged mahogany, that's awesome. That's awesome. Ooh, I need some right here. Going sideways. Okay. This one definitely needs something, so let's do some of this like right there and see what happens. Ooh, isn't that good? I like that. We'll see. And we'll even see. I really honestly don't know how much of this I'm going to use. There's either going to use it for a bunch of little things because there's not a whole lot of it, or I'm going to use it for one leaf or something. Speaking of autumn leaves, I was just looking online and it said that where I live, it's just about perfect autumn leaf time. So my husband's like, ooh, we should go for a drive. So not today, but soon we will probably take a drive in the canyons to look at the leaves. He's a truck driver, so he knows where a lot of really pretty drives are. All right, and one more thing I'm going to do on, oh, I should really let it dry. I'm going to let it dry. Okay, I'm going to clean this off and I'll be back. All right, well, now it's just time to choose what we're going to do. And I'm actually going to probably decide in our next video, but I'm going to show you the 3 that I'm willing to audition. This one is a cool one. It makes a whole lot of little leaves. This one's my favorite. I love it. And each of these dies has 2 parts to it, and you can kind of mix and match them. So that's a real favorite. The third one is an older one. These are all by Tim Holtz. So this one's called Fall Foliage. This one's called Skeleton Leaves. And this one's called Artsy Leaves. I didn't write that up there because, excuse me, I use it all of the time. So I'm going to start with this one real quick before we finish up. Then what I'll probably do is cut them off camera and be ready for our next video. This shape right here is my favorite. I don't know why. I love it. But, oh, I would have to use it way over on the side maybe, because I don't want to cover too much of this up. So then that also means maybe I would use these longer and narrower ones. Definitely can do that. And then maybe one in the middle. I might do that a little further up this way because there's going to be a ticket or a couple of little tickets tucked in there. And I have a ticket die and stamps and everything, and I've never used them. So that might be something that we will be doing next time. But for today, I'm just going to pull a few of these out because I would also maybe put some here and here. So I'm going to cut a few of these out and have this all ready for our next time together. The other one I am definitely going to cut out is this guy here. And then we'll have a whole bunch of little, in fact, where did I put that? I had one just sitting right here. And it like ran away. So never mind. Oh, look, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So this one, these little guys still need to be poked out. And then I would probably put a dark color on the outside of it. But these leaves could stick out. And I will make more. I'll make a whole nother thing of it. That's definitely a thought. And once I get those two cut and kind of start playing with them, then we'll decide if we need some additional leaves. This is fall foliage. This is an older Tim Holtz. And they look like that. In fact, this is one of the first dies that I've bought. Anyway, so we will see how it goes. Thank you for playing with me. I'm hearing my husband and son talking, so hopefully you can hear me. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and like and ring the notification bell. And thank you for playing along with me, and we will see you next time.